Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy New Year. I hope y'all New Year is off to a great start, and happy Tuesday too. I hope your week is off to a great start, right? I'm so grateful that you all are joining me tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Love and light to you all. May 2025 be one of your best years yet. All right. So I have a wonderful show lined up for y'all today. This show is going to be open mic, so feel free. I put the link in the thread. So if you want to join me live in the studio, come on in. I got room. There's plenty of room in the studio. All right. So anyway, thank y'all again. I have some great stuff lined up for 2025 as well. I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm going into 2025 with a positive attitude. I'm telling you, so much stuff is coming across about thinking positive, staying in the moment, right? And we're going to get into all that. But first, and Mark, I see your comment. I'm going to bring it on shortly. But first, okay, make sure, I'm going to let y'all ride in 2024 because some of y'all have not subscribed. Y'all not following. Y'all not part of the group, okay? So I'm going to give it to y'all again. So set the intention that y'all going to like, share, follow. And if y'all want to send me some stars, hey, send me some stars. Okay. So on YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period in there, y'all. All right. On Facebook, Relationship Soup Group, I am going to be talking about some stuff from Relationship Soup Group. Now, I know because one of y'all called me out on it. You ain't even covering up from the soup. I got it, right? It's going to be a whole section of the show called From the Principal's Inbox and Stirring the Soup, okay? Where we're going to get into particular topics from the group because I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all 20-some thousand of my members. So we're going to talk about some things, and I also posted something in there as well. I'll bring that up later, bring up some of your responses and stuff like that. And again, if y'all watching, feel free to respond too. All right, boom. So then if you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. All right. And then on IG, it's Relationship Soup. And another thing, set the intention to support a Black business. Buy y'all some greeting cards. All right. That's relationshipsoup.com. All right. So let's see here. Here we are. So, hi, Mark. Thank you so much for joining me. Love the softness of it right off. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I try to be soft. I try to be a little soft, like Charmin. Daniel Artest, what's the science? Stirring the soup. I know it'd be spicy with it. Yeah, Look, now then, you know that there's been plenty of times where we be like talking about what's going on in the soup. Yeah, it's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. And you all are gonna have the opportunity to actually help a member who's kind of struggling with a situation. This is a true situation that needs some help. All right, boom. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and get into it, y'all. Again, if you want to join me in the studio, I put the link in the thread. All right, so for this 54th episode, this one is called New Year, New Connections, Setting Intentions for Deeper Connections in 2025. All right, so Daniel says, any way I can help, I'm absolutely, that's what friends do. All right, so on this show, this is what I want to do. I want to talk about setting intentions versus resolutions. Let me get into that shortly, as well as deeper connections. Now, when you think of that, you're probably thinking, yo, deeper connections with other people, which, yes, that's definitely a part of it. I want to delve more into a deeper connection with self because it starts with self. And I'm going to be all the way honest with y'all. My counsel knows this as well. My peoples, I ain't always look into self. I did not always do the self love and all that. I can be real. I can be honest. I can be transparent. And so life's lessons, life lived, and all that has taught me the importance of the relationship with self love, self care, and all of that. So we're going to get into that. And I know that we've talked about that in some of the other episodes, but I want to delve deeper because let's set the intention to get into self. And I see y'all comments. I see y'all comments. Nikki, never mind. What's up, Mrs. Bonner? Thank you so much for joining me today. All right. So, chime in. And you know what, Nikki? I wanted to address when I posted about the attachment styles, I'm gonna get into attachment styles. I'm gonna get into all that today. I like the comment that you put on that post. Yeah, I posted a post in the group and it was basically talking about attachment styles. Like, what's your attachment style? It's this whole quiz. I had the link, and so many people responded to that post. But Nikki, I love what you put, how you went from, and I believe it was it anxious, attachment style to secure. So maybe drop some jewels in the thread how you did that, right? Because it was some anxious folks in there. Just saying. All right, so let's see. That intro longer than a length. Whatever. You know what, Coach? I got you. I got you. Whatever. And that's not the truth. I'm just saying. How do you measure that? All right. You know what? Butterflies are still in the sky. Whatever, Coach. I ain't fooling with you. Yes, anxious attachment. Yes. So how you went to that from that to secure? If you want to share. Or maybe I'll have you on a future show and we can get a little bit deeper into that because I definitely do want to have, I do have planned to have a future show about attachment styles and things like that because I think that's really important to know what your attachment style is. And then when you get into a relationship, what their attachment style is. And I think that that can really help you with some things. But anyway, all right, whatever. Coach, you always got something to say. A 2 minute intro is crazy. Well, don't watch. If it got you feeling away in 2025, do the self care, baby. You ain't even got to watch. I'm just saying, don't watch. Just tune in after 2 minutes and 5 minutes. All right, that's what it's about. Just saying. All right. So Nikki says therapy, self reflection, and journaling. Absolutely, those are really, really, really important. All right, y'all. So boom, this is what I want to get into. So now I want to before I kind of go into my whole reflection that I did, and I'm constantly reflection for 2025. The difference between setting an intention and a resolution. And let me put this disclaimer out there. My counsel knows that I am big on disclaimers. If you want to set resolutions, if that's a compliment for your life, do that. Okay. If that works for you, do it. Okay. I'm just sharing something that is working for me. And maybe just a gem that may work for you as well. All right. So as far as a resolution, y'all know what a resolution is. It's goal oriented. It's outcome focused. That's like, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to the gym every day. And we know some of us, some of y'all, some of people, being there. Hey, the gym is fat right now. I already know it's fat. Well, maybe not because of the snow, bah humbug. But then by January, February 1, it's like, nah, ain't nobody in the gym no more. And so then sometimes that can cause you to feel feelings of failure, disappointment, or whatever, right? Whereas an intention, to me, I feel it's more flexible, it's more sustainable, it's process oriented and value driven, right? And to me, I feel it focuses more on the journey. Like, for example, setting an intention could be, I intend to care for my body and health. Don't that feel better? That I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. Now, if the latter feels better for you, do it. All right. So I see some of y'all comments. So let me go ahead and bring it. Intros longer than Christians. What you know what? You are not about to get my podcast strike down in 2025, Jay. You ain't I ain't even gonna let you do it. Thank you so much for joining me, Derek. I appreciate you. Happy Tuesday. After certifying a felon. Ooh, mm, let me drink some of my sparkling water. Y'all listen. I've been on sparkling water lately. Now I just got turned on to sparkling water like at the end of 2024. I've just been drinking regular water, but this bougie water, this sparkling water is so refreshing. All right. All right, so self first is a must. Absolutely. Self is, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, if you want more love, for example, if you want more love in your life, the people around you, who you attract around you, sometimes is a reflection of self, right? So if you want more love, you got to give yourself more love. I had to learn that. I'm just saying. I'm just being all the way real. Gyms are empty but hey, listen. I don't know. I'm kind of frugal, so I'll be working out at home. You feel me? I work out at home, or if when I go out to travel or whatever, I'm gonna hit the gym there. But as far as the membership, nah, I'm working out at home. Here's a resolution: edit the intro. You know what, Coach? I think you're mistaken. I ain't pay you for your opinion. I'm just saying. I'm saying. All right. Listen, Nikki, and I listen. I gotta show you this one. I am drinking that Lacroix because let me share a story right quick before I get into it. Because look, I'm trying to keep the show short. Right. That's one of well, I guess I can put my intention out there a little different. But anyway, LaCroix is amazing. But anyway, I'll share that story later. All right. So y'all, let me go ahead and get into it. So like I said, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately. And again, like my intentions, like I said in the beginning, are to deepen my connections. Of course, with those around me, my relationships, friendships, and definitely with self. And this stems because y'all know that I've been on an ongoing healing journey, and I ain't gonna front and lie to kick it like I'm totally healed. There's times I still struggle with some things, right? And so some of those things that I've learned about myself are the importance of staying present, and I've shared that about some things that my father talked to me about before he passed, and staying present was definitely one of them. So I've been really intentional with trying to stay present. Overthinking. That's something that look, if it was man, listen, I would have a gold medal in that platinum with overthinking, right? And so listening deeply and being patient with both myself and others, that's something that those are areas that I've really reflected on, and I know that I want to address those within self, right? Um, I see y'all comments, and I really appreciate y'all. Let's see here. So Derek says, LaCroix, I've had a 12 pack in the car for months trying to figure out who to give that mess to. Hey, listen, Derek, what flavor is it? DM me or put it in the chat. What flavor is it? Let me know what flavor because this strawberry lemonade or what is this strawberry what? This strawberry peach is amazing. Let me know which one it is. Nah, Nikki, you ain't even here. Derek, I need that. Let me go ahead and get that little pro. So anyway, all right. So again, so as far as the intentions that I'm setting with self, I want to honor my needs, address those weaknesses, right? And I want to make sure that I'm setting boundaries more consistently because, like I said, some of those things that I mentioned, it left me feeling confused, got me all off my center. I'm feeling anxious and all of that, right? So, again, I want to address those areas. And I'm setting the intention to address those areas so that I can be a better self, right? And some of the things that I'm doing, Nikki mentioned a few, which I thought were really dope. Journaling has been big. And y'all, let me tell y'all something. I came across this, it's called the Silva Method, and it's a meditation. So that in conjunction with prayer has been amazing. I'm telling you. And then just even trying to discover how am I in relationships? How am I in friendships? How am I attachment styles, right? I came across this quiz. I'm reading this book about it's called attachment, right? Um, so those are some of the things that I'm doing to address some of the flaws that I've saw within self, some of the things that I've reflected on, right? So anyway, and I will share uh, that link, the same link that I shared in Relationship Soup, I'm gonna share that in the thread as well because I think knowing your attachment style is important. There's secure, there's anxious, and there's avoidant. Now, many of us have probably heard about the love languages, and I think it's great to know what your love language is. I think knowing your love language as well as what your attachment style is can be dope as well. Because to me, I feel like that can help you with how you move with others, right? And even your intention to set a deeper connection. If you know how you move in, I feel like you can move differently with others as well, connect with others differently as well. All right, so let me see here. Okay, y'all talking about the bougie water still. All right, so where else do I want to go with this? Um, I see ain't none of y'all answer my questions yet. But anyway, so as far as my intentions that I'm setting with others, my intention is to communicate that. Now, I think that I am a great communicator, right? I communicate for my job daily, my daily gig. I got to communicate and all of that. I do want to take it to another level because I am seeing where there have been flaws in the way that I communicate. I can recall a recent situation where I allowed emotion to totally overwhelm the conversation, which hurt the communication and it hurt. I mean, it just did not help. So, one thing that I'm planning to do and that I am intentionally doing is pausing before responding, listening to understand, not to respond. Hey, I'm being honest, y'all. I'm putting all my laundry out there, right? So anyway, I just tend to really also one area that I needed to improve on as well that I reflected about is communicating my needs and making sure they're in alignment with like my values and without fear of someone feeling a type of way, whether it's a friend or relative or whatever, right? So anyway, those are some of the ways that I intend to deepen my connections with others and self, right? And so I hope that these intentions that I'm setting will inspire growth and deepen trust, not only trust with others, but with self. And then the bonds that I have with others and then myself as well. All right. So let's see here. The wide receiver. I see you. I see you. I see you. All right. So Derek says, I think start off secure and either become anxious or avoidant. Really? You know what? I can see that, Derek, because if you're in various situations that could either traumatize you or make you feel away, I can see how you can go from secure to anxious or avoidant, right? Because sometimes you can just be like, F it, or you'll move in a way where you're more avoidant in a relationship. I can totally see that. All right, so let's see. Where else do I want to go with this? That could be your nervous system telling you something is off. That's very true. And that's another thing too. I think also delving into self, I think that helps with your discernment, right? Uh, and again, I mentioned one of the meditations that I'm doing. I really think that could help with your nervous system as well, and those receivers and stuff. So yeah, Nikki makes a great point. That could totally be your nervous system telling you that something is wrong as well. All right, so let's see here. Where else am I going with this? Well, this is what I want to do now. I do want to share with you some of the stuff that I've actually talked about in Relationship Soup. Okay, one of the posts that I put was, and I'll put this in the chat. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat. All right. So one of the questions I asked in Relationship Soup, what's one relationship habit you want to break or start in 2025? All right, now y'all gotta forgive me because Verizon's a little slow. So when you see that in chat, feel free to answer that. Meanwhile, I want to go ahead and share some insights from Relationship Soup. And I see that I have someone in the studio, and I am going to bring them on here shortly. All right, so let's see here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so I want to do, now I don't want to do the stir of the pot. We're going to get to that. That is going to be really, really, really good. All right, so like I said, what's one relationship habit you want to break in 2025? This includes relationship with self. All right, so I wanted to include that as well. So I hope that y'all will take some time to answer that. And I want to share some of these responses as well. All right, so let's see here. All right, so this was some of the responses. Someone said total trust and total commitment. Someone else says letting go of how I thought my life was going to be and be content with how it is. You know what? That is huge. That is huge. And I was just having this conversation with someone. Uh, I had this whole, like my senior book, I'm telling you, I had my life laid out. And even in some of my journals, I'm laying life out, right? And so I think that that's okay to be content with how it turned out, right? Uh, let's see here. Someone else says, not making room for myself in the relationship. I make it all about my partner, and that hasn't been successful for me. I can relate to that. And that's one thing that I was talking about. It's so important to get into self because it's so easy to lose yourself in a relationship. I've lost myself before, right? You make it all about your partner and stuff. And I'm not saying that you should not be into your partner, but you have to balance that. You cannot forget yourself. James Smith says, giving myself grace. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Someone was just telling me, like, man, you give everybody else grace, but you don't give yourself grace, right? Absolutely. Someone else said, stop automatically placing men in the friend zone, even though we still gotta be friends first, if that makes sense. I can see that. Someone else says self care, and someone else says I ain't flirting with another female hitting the gym. All right, well that's fair. All right, that's fair. All right, so let's see here. I see some of your comments. Thank you for joining me, Lamont Stokes. I really appreciate you being loyal to those who are not loyal to me. Whew. Yes, I know about that. Absolutely. Ooh, I like that one. Latoya, happiness is what you make it. Yes, it is. Happiness is definitely what you make it. So Daniel says, this year I'm focused on breaking through the limitations I've set for myself, like negative thinking or any habits that could hold me back. I want to let go of fear and self-doubt. Absolutely. Oh, that fear is huge. Fear is huge. Yes, absolutely. And I was actually, oh, someone actually inboxed me a message about getting past fear and stepping outside your comfort zone. That's something that I think is a great thing to do. You got to face your fears and take those risks and step outside your comfort zone as well. So I'm totally with that. I am with it. I am with it. All right, y'all. So let's see here. Now that we are in the stir the pot from the principal's inbox section of the podcast, I want to actually bring this situation on. Okay, now this situation, and please give your feedback. There was some responses to this, but I would like to see more to actually help this person. So let me go ahead and bring this on. All right. Uh, so this situation is, let's see here. We want to put, because this is from an anonymous member. All right. All right. So here it is, y'all. Men and women, please give advice, not judgment. How do you properly break up with someone that lives in the same house as you? Money is too tight at the moment for either of us to move until the lease is up in 6 months. All right. So I'm going to leave that up there for a second. So basically, this person is in a situation where they're living with their now ex, and they basically want to know how to move. The lease ain't up yet. So what advice would you give them? Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a few comments from Relationship Soup. Let's see here. All right, so boom. All right, so someone says this is going to depend on the maturity of those involved. 6 months is not a long time, but if the breakup isn't amicable, it could be a long one. I suggest whoever wants to break um, to communicate best as possible to try to ensure it's not a hurtful experience. Someone else is saying basically have an honest conversation. Okay. And Dave says unless it's an abusive relationship, maybe wait out the 6 months until you can afford to go your separate ways. Maybe even decide to go through counseling if it's covered by insurance. It may make a difference. Use the 6 months to prepare yourself either way. And so then someone else says basically, why not sit down, talk about the problems, and try to work it out? All right. So boom. Ooh, that's deep. So Nikki says, I like Renee's response. I love Renee's response too. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Lamont says, just leave and don't look back. Lamont, leave. You're going to leave that person. What if they doing 50-50? What if they doing 50-50? You going to just leave them holding the bag? Okay, now, again, if it's not abusive, right? So let's see here. Mark says, just be straight, no chaser. Lamont says, look, I mean, that's honest. So Daniel says, I did this before I moved. It's tough, but all I did was give her the space she wanted. We both had ground rules. I used my time to prep for the move to Indy. Gotta be adult about it. Absolutely, you have to. Absolutely. Just another reason not to do it. Nikki, you and Leah, swear. Oh my gosh, y'all are a trip. All right. So that I mean, y'all advice is honest. Uh, what do I think from my life lived? I think it is important. You do have to be adult about it. I think timing matters. Okay. So when you have the conversation, when this person decides to have the conversation, I think timing matters. Like, don't bring it up when it's already emotional. Or if y'all both already stressed, maybe home from work and y'all just in y'all feelings or whatever, right? Maybe don't bring it up then, right? You got to discuss the situation. Something else I think would be good is to discuss clear boundaries. Y'all gonna have to just think about personal space. I mean, y'all might have to draw a chalk in the crib, like, hey, this is my side, that's your side, right? And y'all gonna have to create some house rules because let's just be real. 6 months, I mean, depending on the people, that's enough time to get over somebody. Somebody gonna have a boyfriend or girlfriend. So how y'all gonna do that? If y'all still going 50-50? Or how y'all gonna do that? Right? So you gotta think about that. You in a household with your whole ex and you got a whole, what I'm saying, you gotta have those boundaries. I think that's really good to have as well. And I think it's really important to just really focus on the solution, like practical solutions, right? Y'all have shared expenses. So you're gonna have to figure that out. And then plan for the future. Plan how you're gonna save money so that you can make this move in 6 months. I really think that that's really important as well. And also set emotional boundaries. Okay. Because we didn't all, well, I ain't gonna say that. That's an overstatement. Breaking up is what it is. But if you're forced to be in a situation where you're still having to see that person, I think it's really important to set emotional boundaries. I don't think it's a good idea to keep going to that person for emotional support, especially if you're trying to break it off, right? And every situation is different. So again, every situation is different. I'm just giving my opinion, and I'm not saying it's fact. I ain't saying it's Bible. I'm not saying it's Bible. And then, I think it's really important to seek support elsewhere because I think it's important when you are trying to break away from that ex, and we didn't all had to break away from an ex. Some of us have had to break away from an ex. I ain't gonna keep on going to my ex for support. I can't because to me for me, that doesn't allow me to move on. I couldn't keep on going to him for, hey, let me tell you what happened. No. I had to go to my counsel or my support or whoever, right? Okay. So anyway, and again, keep the peace and be patient, y'all. I think that's going to be important as well. I mean, it's temporary, so just keep the peace. Okay. And you got to respect each other's space and all that stuff. Okay, boom. So let's see here. I don't think dating should be on the radar in that situation. Tell me about that, Nikki. Why shouldn't dating be on the radar? Should people not move on? Why do you think that? All right, so let's see here. So Daniel says, laughing out loud, facts. Lisa, we had two bathrooms and three rooms. I just stayed out the way. You got to, right? Yeah, yeah. Hmm. So Mark says, I don't think she or he should go as far as having another partner while in the situation is going on. That's way too messy. Just wait the time out. Okay, okay. I'll say it's definitely a case by case. How you gonna move on with the past sleeping under the same roof? Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, okay. I can see that. I can see that. So Nikki says exactly, Mark. Okay. And again, it's a case by case because every situation is different, right? So, to the person that posted that, I'm definitely going to share some of these responses in the group, and hopefully they're watching, right? Hopefully they're watching. So anyway, are there any other comments, questions? Hey, V, thanks for joining me. Respect each other and don't bring your new. Oh yeah, V. If it's a girl, if it's a woman, she shouldn't bring her new dude over. Why not? If they got respect, if they got boundaries, what do it matter, right? I'm being funny, okay? I mean, I can respect that. I can respect that. All right, so I do have someone in the studio that I'm going to bring on because we are nearing the end of the show. Let's see here. Mark says, "Yep." Nah, sis, that's messy. Oh, I might have to come up and talk about. Hey, are you talking about on your podcast, Daniel? Let me know. All right, so Mark, I see. Hold on. So no dudes, no dudes for real. Why not? If y'all move past each other, what do it matter? All right, so Mark, I see I have Mark in the studio. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring Mark on. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm definitely doing a multitasking as I'm always doing and all along those lines. But I know you're doing amazing. You're always doing an amazing job and everything. I was actually thinking about relationships and some of your conversation because, as I told you before on a previous show, I had to walk away one time and everything like that, and I had to be in a situation. Ironically, we have mended that fence and we're at least on friendly terms. I wouldn't say that we're in a relationship, but yeah, it was like a stressful relationship and I saw that it was not good for me. So I literally had to walk away. So sometimes you got to walk away and everything like that. So yeah, I was living with the young lady and I was going, this was well before the pandemic. And I was like, this is not working and this is adding too much stress to my life and everything. So I had to prepare to leave. I thought one of your other guests said that that's what they had to do as well. And I'm sure it was a jolt to their system, but it was also a jolt to mine. Like I said, I'm fortunate that we lived in a different city at the time, but it was a city near the city that I'm from and a city that I'm familiar with. So I had a safety net to fall back on, for lack of a better term, and everything like that. And we don't always have that safety net, but I was fortunate that I had a safety net, and I just knew that it was too stressful, so I had to literally be like, just got to walk away and get away, and all in that space. And the other thing I was going to say is something you said earlier that really touched me is you got to be true to yourself and everything like that, because sometimes we're afraid to ask what we want, because sometimes even if you want to be in a relationship, a lot of us, I've said it even in my own life, are afraid of rejection, and we don't even go for the things that we want because we're afraid of rejection, afraid that the other person may not have the same feelings. They might want to put you in that quote unquote infamous friend zone and all along those lines. And sometimes you don't want to be friends. Sometimes you want to be in a romantic relationship and not just in the friend zone. But say sometimes you got to just cope with the fact that the other person might not have the same feelings that you do, and you might just have to either see them as a friend or see them as a acquaintance or a business associate or all along those lines. But you got to be true to yourself and true to your desires and everything like that, and be honest in what you desire and what you're going after.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. It's like I would rather you know express it, be upfront, because if it's not a match for whatever, friendship, whatever, I think it's good to have that on the table so that way you can move accordingly, right? Because
Right.
you really don't want to, be in a situation where, you don't want to express yourself because you're afraid that the person won't like you for, you being honest about whatever,
Mhm.
right? You don't want to do that. You should always be true to yourself. And I
Yeah.
do see that we have a couple more comments right quick, Mark. Let's see here. Happy New Year. And thank you so much for joining me, Cousin Melvin. I appreciate it. And Derek says, I just kept it from the house until I left. She did the same long before I even knew we were done. Okay. And that's fair. And again,
Mhm.
it's a case by case, right?
Right.
So I just want to put that out there. That's a case by case. And you take it with a grain of salt. If it makes sense for you, then move accordingly. If it don't, then it don't. And
Yeah.
you can never say all for any situation. You can never ever say all because the truth of the matter is, let's just be all the way real too. Sometimes you are in a relationship or whatever, it's been long over, right? You didn't
Yeah.
mended your feelings or whatever, and so hey, you to the point where you ready to move on, and that's okay. I think that's okay. I
Hey,
think it's going to take open and honest conversation. You know what I mean? So if
hey,
you are in that situation, you just got to be open and honest about
just really quickly along those same lines, and I think I've told you this before, and I think that even in your own family, you've talked about it, but I also know that there are times that you also got to be sincere about where people are coming from in the relationship status and all along those lines, because you might have a particular job, you might have a particular status and everything. I don't hide from the fact that my family has some notoriety in the good sense, not in the bad sense here in the community. So sometimes I even had to be cautious, and I'm sure my brother and even some of my cousins might say the same thing because you're wondering if people are truly interested in you or if they're interested in the quote unquote status that you bring into the relationship and everything. Like I said, because I'm here in Durham, North Carolina, and I know that literally mom ran for a government job and was a leader of a major trust fund. Dad is a well-known artist and grandmom created one of the first African American libraries in this state and everything like that. So I know the roots that I come from, and I'm trying to create my own kind of groundwork and trying to create my own heritage that is beyond what that history was and everything. But I also know the history that I come from. And then you have some people that you're wondering, are they really interested in you for you? Or they're interested because they think that you might give them inroads into certain communities that they might want to be part of and all along those lines. And that's just me being authentic. And I know that sometimes teachers and politicians and even in for those that are in churches, sometimes ministers, kids see that happening as well and everything. So I don't know if you had any thoughts around that because let's be honest, it's not just women. I know women sometimes have that reputation of gold diggers, but if I'm thinking about status queens and status kings, that can be both genders. There can be both genders that are looking for certain kinds of status in their life, and maybe they're trying to get out of a situation that they were in.
it. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's definitely across the board for men and women, right?
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want somebody like you for you, and I think that's just where discernment come in. And
Right.
one thing that I've learned to do more is listen,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to really listen. People do tell you who they are.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
tell you who they are, and you just gotta listen, and you gotta like tune in. You tune into self, intuition, discernment, whatever. Nikki said something earlier about the nervous system. If those things are happening, then I think it's worth it to pay attention to, right?
Yep. I
And
agree.
I think that's just the key: intuition and listening, and then you know, things have a way of coming out, right? There's things that can't be long hidden. How does that adage go? There's things that can't be long hidden: the sun, moon, and the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
the truth has a way of coming out, and, and
Yeah.
and I think it's really important too. I think it's really important to give yourself grace because sometimes you might not see it in a person, whether maybe the person turned out to be abusive or maybe the person was a gold digger or whatever.
Right.
Okay, maybe you missed it, but you
Yeah.
got to you're going to have to give yourself grace with that too, because I think we're all doing the best that we can while we're
We
down.
can all do the best we can. I got to teach you about something because sometimes the truth can come at you and you can see the truth. It could be like a freight train coming at you and everything along those lines. Because I am not a spring chicken, not a young. I mean, I'm young in my own sense and everything like that. But even at my age, I do know that sometimes the catfishers are out there and all along those lines. And if I hear another woman telling me that they want me to send them some monetary aid and everything, I'm going to start screaming because sometimes they're even like, claiming that they want to give you all that a man might want in a relationship, but then they're sitting there turning around like, but I only need this amount of money for my child and everything. I'm going like, Yeah, and I'm not supposed to fall for that. I'm supposed to fall for that okey doke. I'm like, good grief. How many people do you think literally fell off the turnip truck and all along those lines because they're wanting to, uh, they use excuses whether it's family members or whether it's they've got a child to take care of. And I'm not knocking parents or mothers that do have children that they need to take care of, but they're like wanting you to find a distraction for the kid if you are involved with them, whether that distraction is food and you bring in some food for the kid, or whether that distraction is providing them some opportunities or gaming opportunities and all along those lines. I'm going like, yeah, that sounds like you are doing some serious catfishing to me and everything along those lines. But sometimes people don't want to recognize the signals that are directly in front of them.
Absolutely, because sometimes we project ideas, like our idea of a person on a person, and so then we ignore all the signs.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. So this is what I'm gonna do, Mark. I'm gonna take you off
No problem.
because there's a special there's something I really want to talk about really quickly, and then I'm gonna get out of here. Because
No
listen,
problem.
y'all already know what I say at the end of every show. Y'all already know what I say. Because
Well,
somebody just hit me on it. You always be talking about how
well,
hungry you are by the end of the show. Listen,
I'm guessing that you were hungry. I can't talk. I ate earlier. I ate a late lunch, but I'm not going to be far behind you. Me and just to let you know that it's not just you, Lisa, that has that mode and everything. But me and either a restaurant or me and I'll be honest, Domino's or DoorDash might be very friendly in about a couple of minutes and everything. Because I'm sitting there going like, there's a couple of things in the house, including maybe some soup and hot dogs and everything. So I might resist the urge to waste money and everything along those lines, or I might just be a little too hungry and it might be DoorDash or Domino's time. So I might not be far behind you in that food category. I'll just leave it at that.
that's what's up. All right. So thanks for joining me, Mark. Give me a second, okay? All right, boom. So this is what I want to do. There is this little girl that I actually want to ask you all to actually pray for her. Um, I actually met this baby girl a few years ago. She has cancer. And this morning, she was rushed to the Children's Hospital. Her name is London Denise. So if you all get a second, please say a prayer for this baby because she has been rushed to the hospital. She couldn't breathe. She's having complications, and she has cancer. So if you get a second, please say a prayer for this beautiful child. Okay. I just wanted to bring that on. I believe in the power of prayer, and it just does something to me when I learn about children that are actually going through difficult illnesses. All right, so if you could please say a prayer for London Denise, that would be awesome. All right, so I see y'all. I see y'all comments, and I promise we're gonna get out of here. All right, so Holly says, Holly, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you so much. I think the only time a man should give money is if they live together and sharing bills. Okay, all right, yeah, absolutely. Um, Lisa, you really have an amazing show. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. The work that we put into these podcasts, it means a lot. When I get feedback like that, that always means a lot, y'all. So let's see here. Oh, thank you so much for joining me, B. Please pray. There's definitely power in prayer, and I'm sure little London Denise will appreciate that. All right, boom. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate y'all. So y'all know what I do at the end of the show. Thank y'all. 2025 is going to be a great year. Want to definitely give a shout out to my mama. Mama, thank you so much for listening. Look, you listened to the first show of 2025, and I appreciate that because y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all was here with me, and I appreciate it. Another shout out to my Anna. Anna, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. She consistently, like a few minutes before every show, she's hitting me up. Hey, send me the link. Send me the link. Send me the link. So I definitely appreciate that. Oh, y'all, thank y'all for shouting my mama out. Daniel says, hi, mama. Nikki says, hi, mama. Hey, mama. And so Hallie says, thank you for this show. I appreciate it. I finally got out of work early enough to be on here. I appreciate you, Holly, and that means something. I appreciate you. So thank you so much for joining me. I also want to give a shout out to Lyric. Lyric, thank you so much for joining me as well, and for your feedback and all the help that you put into the show as well. And of course, Mark, thank you as well because you always show up, and I appreciate that. Ain't nothing like that family podcast. You hear me? Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it. Now, before we get out of here, y'all know I got to give this spiel one more time. YouTube, Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period in there, y'all. Facebook, Relationship Soup Group, come and join the forum, all right? Hey, comment on that anonymous post, too, all right? They need help. And then Facebook, Relationship Soup LLC, the website, relationshipsoup.com, right? So my last words before we get out of here, before we, oh, Lord willing, we will meet again soon. But my words I always do say love yourself, which is important. And one thing I will say, and what life is showing me, is let your past serve as a history lesson and not a guide for your daily life. All right? So with that, until we meet again, Lord willing, I'm out. Peace.